Okay. Whenever you're ready.
Place you down. How about if we all rise and we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We'll get right at it. I'm glad everybody could make it out.
Got my writing on it.
It's kind of our first meeting, I think, for all of us new to streets and sidewalks to unite and kind of throw some ideas around, and that's really what we're here to do. I'll start off with anybody here from the public that would like to say anything at this time. Good?
Well, I'm not sure. I was listening for a while.
No problem.
Yeah, you can talk.
Okay.
Really.
I do have the minutes from last meeting. We're really going to work off from them, and I'm really going to rehash some of it out, or at least touch on it a little bit and add our comments to it. This is from John Robb, who was the previous chair, John Davis, and the President Chris here. He was there at that meeting. So Nick, you and Rod as well. But that's kind of gonna be a little bit of our agenda again tonight. So. The items that they talked about was the Elmira Street designation as a school zone, the light pole at Reddington and down at Canton, the reflective strips alerting for signs, etc., etc. We're going to touch on all of those. Contract for snow removal, that's been approved, and then we have to talk a little bit about the trees that the roots that are coming up and raising our sidewalks, making it a little bit of a hazard for our citizens here in Troy. So there are 5 items there that we're going to touch on again. So I don't know if anyone had those minutes. Any questions or concerns at this time? All right. Yes, Rod?
No,
Okay.
no, nothing.
All right. So next on the agenda is really to discuss as a committee what our goals should be here for the borough. I think a lot of it comes down to really making it safe for our citizens, for our walkers, our patrons here in Troy to be able to walk our streets and not have to stub a toe because we have a sidewalk that's been raised up. I'm guilty of that myself in front of my house, and as soon as the weather breaks, we'll fix it. But quiet down over there in the corner. I hear you over there.
I didn't fall, but Dolores Barron did.
Yes.
She told me about that.
Yep. I heard, and it was
okay.
so, and that will be corrected. Unfortunately, I think it's a weather thing. I don't think I can do it right now, but
Right.
Yeah.
yep. So if you see her, please give her my apologies. Yeah. But they're the things that need to be corrected. We want to be here to help, assist, or at least bring it to the attention of our people. So. And then the streets, what can we do to make them safer? Is it street signs? Is it slower speed limits? Is it, do we have a problem with some of our intersections? All of those things is really what we want to try to keep an eye out for, have our ears listening to, what people are saying. So I think our goals really are to make it a safer place to be, and also to give us a little bit of curb appeal. So going on to number 6, the past snow event, how did that go as far as enforcement go? Did you hear from Chief?
Yeah, the one that he cited people on, all the hearings were taken, and it was interesting because the magistrate, the one that those that pled guilty, he charged them $25. Those that did not plead, that took a hearing, he found guilty and charged them $1. So it was a little interesting on that retrospect.
Okay.
But all the citations went through. The last time around, I think he did a couple, but he hasn't heard back yet on them.
Okay.
And the chief would be here, but he had surgery, so he's going to be out for a couple weeks.
Nothing major.
No, he had something with his shoulder. Something on his shoulder. Supposed to be out 6 weeks. He's going to be back in 2, he said.
Was it the weight of the borough?
Could be.
Okay.
Could be the way.
Yeah.
I'm just going to spin off from that. We got off from the snow removal for some of the elderly. We received a letter from one of our councilmen. He's also an active member in the Scouts. He has a solution where some of his Scouts are in need of community service. And if we could somehow, or he could somehow put a program together, he might have an answer to some of our elderly people where the Scouts would go and remove the snow off from their sidewalks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a great idea myself. I just think someone's got to put together who's gonna head that up, who's gonna monitor those.
Yeah,
those
I
kids.
think he needs to do something with that.
It's his
Insurance
truth.
wise
Yep.
purposes. If a kid gets hurt or something, we don't want to be the ones to say,
Well,
we let them. You let them.
Yeah,
something like
I don't think we as a borough want
yeah.
to. This is
Right.
something that has to be done by the
Right.
troop. We're not going to,
Right,
show
yeah,
up and
yeah.
cite them for not having a
Right.
license to remove
Well,
snow.
if they have,
Right.
like you said, if somebody gets hurt doing it, it's not under the auspices of the borough.
Right, that is correct.
It's a charity that they're doing, and they would need to control it from start to finish, meaning they would have to be contacted. They can't go through us to get them contacted.
Right.
Agreed.
And I'm all for it. I mean, that's great. That's a great thing.
I think as a committee, we can be in 100% agreement that this is a great idea and that he should run with it, and recommend that he take the same avenues the borough would.
Yep.
Sit down with Wiggle, get a community announcement together,
Yep.
post it on the Scouts, wherever they post stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they have a Facebook page or what. Yeah.
But whatever they do, they could do what we do. We don't have a responsibility to advertise for a community group. I'd also point out that there are school students that have the same responsibility that need to do community work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if Tim could take the lead in making people aware that if they can't handle their snow removal,
Right.
that there are resources that we don't control,
Right.
but that are available in the community.
Right.
And
That are looking for a community
Yeah.
project, and it's
Yep.
the high school kids and the Scouts.
And in charge of that is Mr. Wesneski up at the high school, so I'll
Yep.
have a meeting with him.
So I think we get
Friday,
behind
so-
Tim on this and
Okay.
support him, but
Yep.
it isn't a borough responsibility,
Right.
so it's an opportunity.
Yep.
I agree with you, Mr. Bill. Great idea.
Yeah.
Run with it, but it's the troop. It's not the borough.
Right.
It's
Right.
just our.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just looking out for the backbone of the borough,
Absolutely.
so just,
Appreciate that, yes.
I just,
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we don't want to.
yeah.
Love to do it, but we don't
Right.
know everybody. So if it's okay. I'm gonna stick with the snow topic. I do believe that we did approve snow removal. Lee
Yeah,
snow
Bobby Lee,
removal,
yeah.
and they're also going to be doing the tree trimming and that type of thing, just like
Correct.
they did last year. And I will say, the last snowstorm, I thought they came and did a super job.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
Yeah.
comments of,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep.
So, and it looked great that next
Yeah.
morning. So, okay, very good. So that is good. Okay. All right. Any other comments or questions on the snow ordinance or the enforcement? I saw a couple up by the cemetery here at St. John's. Okay, there's a sidewalk there, but
Yeah, it's like
What?
a stone.
yeah, it's flat. Yeah,
It's been
It's
like
old
that.
slate. I think
Yeah.
it's
it
old
is.
slate.
It
yeah.
is.
It's
Some
been
of
like
it's
that for years. I don't even know what the church would do about it if you did tell them that. It's a tough thing, and
I suspect if you tried
That
to get
church is
anybody to
almost-
walk on it, even if you shoveled it, they'd slip and fall.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid of
It's
that.
uneven.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
It's
Very
wrong.
steep, and it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Should we put like just an orange cone or something on each end of it? Or
I don't know. I mean, I can go up and look at it tomorrow and see.
I can't really see anything. Wait a couple days until the snow's gone, then you'll be able to see it.
Yeah.
So it's-
See the unevenness, but
You know,
yeah, it's very uneven.
Yeah.
that's the church's property.
Yeah.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Is that the church property?
Yeah.
Because that's the type of thing we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been in a while, Jeff, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, it's just-
we'd have to check, but I do believe that's the church's property, and we'll have to talk with, and we've already got somebody that said they would talk with the father to ascertain, or some of the parishioners that live in town might be able to take that on.
Yeah.
So my negligence, this is Mr. Cole. I don't know if anybody,
No, we've met. Yep.
you've met, okay,
Yep.
he's sober from Canton, he's kind of sitting in on our
Yep.
meeting, because he's learning just like we are, so.
Yep, totally
So we were
fine.
honored to have him here, and
Yep.
any
I
insight.
do have
that he can give us.
a couple of complaints that came in about our ordinance for 12 hours. They feel it might be a little too short, and people want 24 hours. So I just said I'd bring it up to the board, let the streets.
Well, if it's if the snowstorm, okay, if the snowstorm ends after a certain time at night, you have until 10 o'clock the next morning. Okay, I understand 24 hours, that's a long time.
I have a problem with 12 hours, and I'm not sure.
The thing,
24 is
so
what
the
I'd like.
thing that I'm looking at with this, I mean, you guys swing it everywhere, but all right, say it stops at 6 o'clock at night. People are home. They don't want to go out.
Yes.
You know, and I guess that's their fault for not wanting to go out. But by 6 o'clock or 10 o'clock the next morning, whatever, they
10
gotta
o'clock.
go to work.
At 10 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Right.
They're not going to get up early to do it.
You know what I mean? That's
I'll give
Okay.
you
that's the
another,
thing we're kind of looking at. I mean, I get
you
it
know,
both ways.
I'll give you another problem.
Go ahead.
I'm just
Okay,
showing how people are gonna
snow
act.
stops at 3 in the morning. So with 12 hours, you have till 3 in the afternoon. The problem with that is a lot of our streets are being filled by PennDOT.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
And so if I got to go out there, I live on Canton Street.
I know. Yeah.
And I can tell you when I cleared my sidewalk, and you guys can find me if you want to, because I'm not going to change. I try to clear it about 4 or 5 o'clock when it's getting dark. The last possible moment while the sun is up, because PennDOT will deposit more on my sidewalk. And what are you going to do? I cleared my sidewalk at noon, and PennDOT filled it at 2. You're still going to find me. But how do you find me? I cleared my sidewalk by 12 hours.
Yeah.
Now I
think-
have a responsibility to keep it
Right.
clear.
Right.
And the thing is, if I leave it overnight, salt in the water that's in the plow mixture will go ice hard.
Yes.
So I wait as long as I can, and being a reasonable person here, I've got a system that will get my sidewalk clear, with the most likely that by that time PennDOT's been through enough that they're not really throwing snow.
They're throwing chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even that, by that time they've moved most of it along, and when you clear it. And I can tell you, when I first moved on to Canton Street, we got an 18-inch snowfall. I got out there with my snowblower, and I was so proud. You could see this channel, and the snow is smooth, and the snow is smooth, and there's the channel, and I looked like a proud papa at my... And I turned and looked, and here comes PennDOT. And they curled the snow perfectly so it landed in that channel and didn't risk up any of the rest of it, except now it's twice as heavy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And if I hadn't snowblowed it
Yes.
at all, it would have gone across the yard. So at some point, we've got to have some
Yeah.
flexibility.
Right. Right. And I
Because-
get it. I mean, and it is tough. But I plow snow, and there's a lot of
But
the
I mean-
streets. I try to get it to go other places
If we
to help
said
Well, I
the
think
issue, but
something to do with by sundown,
Well, I think if we could look at the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law.
right?
And if you've made
If
an
we're running
honest
around on
attempt,
12 hours saying
yeah,
we're
if
going
you're
to
if you're making an honest attempt to shovel
Yeah.
snow, and this
Yeah.
is what the chief and I have talked about.
Yeah.
Especially when we get large amounts of snow and PennDOT, because we live on Elmira Street.
Yeah.
And the last time PennDOT came through, it was late, and
Oh,
I got
God.
home late, and
Yep.
I got out there and I shoveled the chunks of ice that they had off.
Yeah.
On there. But I think if we look at the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law, if somebody's making an attempt and they've done it a couple times, then I think the chief's going to have a little leeway to say, okay,
Yeah.
we'll see what the clock looks like as far as how
Yeah.
it's the people that don't do anything.
Yeah.
It's the
Right.
people that don't do anything are the people that we're trying to
Yeah, 'cause
motivate.
you can tell
to get it
when
done.
somebody's done it and it's gotten
Right.
blowed over
Yeah.
Yeah.
to somebody that
And the-
hasn't done it at all.
And the other thing
You know,
is, we get too many people in this town that focus on downtown.
Mhm.
and people trip and fall everywhere. And so we've got
Mhm.
the heights, we've got all
Mhm.
kinds of places that are issues. And on Canton and Elmira Street, where a lot of people spend their time focusing, one side has no room and the other side has parking room. And if you live on the side where there's no room, PennDOT's going to hit you. And if you live on the other side, not so much. So,
Mhm.
how do you codify that? How do you put that into an ordinance? You can't. At some point, you got to look at a reasonable test. Is there a reasonable effort being made here?
And that's
Yeah.
where it comes into the spirit. Are we trying it? Because
Yeah.
and I know on our street, because Wayne lives down from me and Kyle lives down from me, and Kyle was up and down a couple times with his snowblower.
Yes, you
And I usually go either side of me on the residence with mine. And the one night I left here, they had plowed, and I went out and shoveled the front of the Borough walk to get the chunks off of it. And to me, that's a reasonable attempt.
Right.
And there's something that if the chief decided to cite somebody for that, I think they definitely lose in court. But I think it's the 24 hours might give the person that's reasonable a chance to get out there. I'm not, like Nick said, I'm not getting out after 6. I may not get out after before I go to work, but that next night I know I've got to get out there and do it.
You get up early or...
And the way the chief does it, he doesn't go out and he doesn't cite people right away. He usually does a door knocker.
He does.
Get your sidewalk done, so you're getting an extra
Yeah.
24 hours.
Yeah.
To
The
do
12
it.
hours, 24 hours, I think reasonably is kind of long. But 12 hours, depending on when it falls.
Right.
If it stops snowing at 2 in the morning,
Yeah,
you got till 2 in the afternoon, and if you get up in the morning and realize, oh my God, it snowed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you go to bed and don't know it's snowing, you
Don't
wake
know,
up, you're
yeah.
in for a rude awakening.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
And
sure.
you only got one morning to take care of it if you're going off to
Nope,
work.
I just
So,
thought it
Yep,
people
no,
call and
no,
complain on it,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
thought I'd bring it
no.
up to the streets meeting.
If
So,
if we could come up with a better worded ordinance that's not, ordinances in general, when they are very, very specific, they get you in trouble.
yeah, I do.
So.
But I think the way-
You gotta be specific enough to enforce, but not so specific that, that you don't have some flexibility with daily.
Well, I think the chief is doing a good job in not sticking too
Yeah.
strict to that
Right.
12 hours.
I think the door knocker, after
Yeah.
12 hours, and even then at
Yeah.
12, he's not waiting for that 12 hours.
No,
okay?
no.
There,
Yeah.
bang, there was that last snowflake. Put my out there,
Yeah.
No. And
No, yeah.
two, with him, we don't have an enforcement ordinance officer, so he gets stuck with doing that. Whereas if we had an enforcement ordinance officer with only 10 hours, there would be a lot of time in between.
Right.
That would probably would give people the time.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just got people. I think that first big snowstorm where they realized we weren't going to give you 3-4 days to get it done, that we brought your attention to it.
Yeah.
You need to get on it sooner than that because, like we talked about, you got people coming down our street that go to school.
Yeah.
And they're walking ankle deep, knee deep in snow trying to get to school, and these
And the-
kids are having a hard time.
And if there's no snow on the road, PennDOT's done a great job. They're going out on the road and not the sidewalk. That's the
Yeah.
problem with.
And that's my
the
concern.
problem with our street.
Yeah. And ultimately, it comes back on us if their streets aren't done, if their sidewalks aren't done, because we're not enforcing it.
I like the 12-hour door knocker at the most, and then I get you another 24 hours after that before chief's
Right.
going to come back around, or they're
Right.
Yeah.
So.
And when he made all the citations, it was a good 36 hours
Yes.
after the snowstorm. It wasn't
Yes, it
like
was.
it was right after.
So I don't.
You got something?
I do. Did you guys happen to talk about one of the concerns coming from the chief that he had brought to his attention at one of his hearings down there? I'm uncertain of the details. I just know that I believe the judge made mention of a potential slight change we might want to make. I wasn't sure how far that conversation went.
He hadn't spoken to me anything on it, John, so I don't know what the issue is. If you've got something, just, that you can enlighten us a little bit, because he didn't talk to me about it.
Yeah, and I don't, Ron. He just mentioned it. I think he may have mentioned it to actually John. or maybe both of us in a text. It was very unclear. It was just a message that we needed to do something with some of the verbiage, and it was a suggestion from the judge.
Okay.
And I'm uncertain what it was. I mean, my first guess would be the perception of clearing your sidewalk is a kind of a broad statement, to where it should probably say curb to grass instead of just one swipe down the middle, so somebody can walk one direction, but if they meet somebody, one of them's got to jump out in the road. That was kind of what I thought, but
Yeah, it wasn't, because it had to be wide enough for a wheelchair accessible, wasn't it, John?
it's supposed to. So if you read the actual ordinance, it says clear the sidewalk. A lot of people they have a misconception of what that actually means. They're thinking one shovel wide.
Yeah.
That constitutes clearing the sidewalk, and that's providing a path for a dog. It's not really clearing the sidewalk. I mean, people are supposed to be able to pass shoulder to shoulder on the sidewalk at any given time. So I think there's some clarity that needs to be given there as well in the actual ordinance. And like I heard Bill say, sometimes your ordinance can be so big that it'll get you in trouble. And I think, the way I read something's probably not the same way that somebody else reads it. So
I think if you have a sidewalk that's 14 feet wide, requiring them to clear it, the entire 14 feet, is putting a load on that's heavier than we need to require. So saying curb to grass, at least 4 feet? There's ways to write it.
That might not be I may not have chose the proper terms there.
Right.
I'm thinking
anytime,
sidewalks.
Well, let's go back to the
36
permitting.
inches wide, right? The requirement's 36 inches wide, I believe.
Well, that's what I was getting to. What's our planning committee say on sidewalks? Is there, I'd have to check to see for permitting purposes. I think there is
if we said, front curb to,
and I think it is
permitted,
36, but
but I think that's 36 without
without the
6 inch curb.
but if you say from curb, meaning including.
Right.
Curb.
So
That's
it'll actually be 6 inches wide.
That's something that we can look at. We need to look at our ordinance anyway, and that'll give us one to start with.
Right.
And that defines what a clear sidewalk is.
Yeah.
Right.
And the judge is going to have a problem. The other thing is, do we announce when the 12-hour clock starts? When did the snowfall stop? 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning? Where did it stop? It's still snowing in the heights, but it's not snowing.
Well, I think
at some point,
that
if you really,
with the way the chief handles it, we don't really run into
Okay.
that. We don't run into that 12-hour issue. But I think we can.
Okay.
Hopefully we stay judicious enough that we're not hammering it for that. That we're not hammering it on that, but
that's another thing the judge is going to get hit with. Is,
Yeah.
You ticketed me at 3 in the afternoon. Okay. How long did you have? And if we can't say.
Mentioned it's
There
12
is a-
hours, but if it stops at 6, you have to have it done by 10.
Yeah, there's a.
Yeah.
And it's,
10 at night.
No, if it finishes at 6 p.m., you have to have it cleaned by 10.
10 in the AM.
After
Well, that's the example. The snow that's.
Oh, is it an example?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the example that they're giving. If it should, because first of all, the snow doesn't care what time it is when it starts or stop.
Yeah.
But I think in here that was their example of it. And again, it could be like the judge is saying, the verbiage needs to be addressed. I mean, this is from 1970.
But I think the other thing you guys are relying on is that it stopped. We're not going by if it stops at 3 in the morning or not. I mean, we're talking 36 hours by the time we put a door knocker on your door and say, hey, can you just clean your sidewalk?
Yeah.
And that's another 24 hours. You're talking 36 minimum.
Right.
20 is just the.
Yeah, but I agree. We're looking at ordinances anyway, but we can focus on that one to make sure we're clear as far as what the width of the sidewalk snow shoveling should be. If you have a sidewalk. Now we got problems up in Prospect where we don't have sidewalks up on that area, and people are forced to walk in either in the snow or they walk in the street. That's a whole nother issue that we need to address at some point.
If I may, did the chief tell you what the discrepancy was? All it was that he didn't know. I was there. he didn't know because it said tenant if the property owner should be cited. That's it. So just call it the property owner. We don't care about the tenant.
Right.
That's a property owner and tenant problem.
Yep.
That was the question.
And he cited the property owners for the rental properties.
Yeah, yeah.
He did. He
Yeah,
cited the
that's
property.
correct.
Yeah.
It should be.
On the last one, he
That's what,
questioned.
that's what Mansfield Borough does.
Yeah, he cited,
he
the
cites
ones
me.
that,
We don't
And I
get
just
in
pass it
between,
on
we
to
don't
the
get between a
tenants.
tenant
no,
and
no,
property.
it's the owner of the property, and
That's
that's
correct.
what he had done.
Yeah, it wasn't anything else.
Yours is if it's one tenant, it's the tenant or occupier. If it's multiple dwelling property, it's the landlord. Multiple businesses or multiple dwelling property, it's the landlord. If it's one tenant, it's the tenant, it looks like.
So just change it to the property owner.
Yeah, that's
It's
an
just
easy
the
one.
property owner, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you'd have to, being the property owner, you'd have to tell your tenants, listen, I don't do the sidewalk, so it's your
It's
problem.
still between them.
And that's
You know what I mean?
it's
Yeah,
right
but
in
it's
the
still
lease.
between, right,
Yeah,
right.
it's right in the lease.
Because right now with
So when-
with the water and sewer, we
Just like
don't
water,
we
right.
don't charge the tenant. It goes to the property owner.
Right.
So this is one more thing that the property owner has to make sure gets taken care of.
I'll follow up with the judge over there and just touch base with him, make sure I'm not missing
Yep.
anything, and then
Yep.
we can certainly talk that. But I think as far as we can bring it up for discussion, I don't have a problem with the 24 hour. I just think we're given that already. You know, we say, you know, within
Yeah,
12
the way we're doing it.
the way we're doing it. Yes.
You get a whole crew in 10 years, and you got a whole new people in there, and
Yep.
they're black and white and 12 hours, and that's not the intent of the law.
Correct. Okay. Is there any other discussion as far as our snow ordinance? Anything you see that needs to be addressed or discussed?
No, the High Street thing that got taken care of, so I think we're all right there.
Yeah.
The problem we're going to come up with High Street, I think, is when we don't have a large amount of snow. If we get 3-4 inches, we're not declaring a snow emergency.
Right.
So we're going to have to
And you
make
got
sure we
clear trouble.
advertise and remind them that if they want their street cleared, get off and put it in your driveway.
And being that we could still get snow, but I mean, it's coming towards the end, but, you know, throughout the summer, maybe we ought to look at something for next year and following years for signage of saying, listen,
Get it
from
posted.
this time to this time, and
Yeah.
we're gonna, you know, we'll
Okay.
put them X amount of feet down top of High
It takes
Street.
care of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. Get that on there.
Between 6 to 6.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
And the problem was
Figure out
on
what
the
it's-
citing for that, he did cite somebody for not having their car moved.
Mhm.
And they came out, because we told them midnight was a snow emergency, not to have your cars on the road. And it was between 8 and 9 that Kyle got there, and there was 3 vehicles on the road. And he called the tow truck, and by the time the tow truck got there, one car had already started warming, and the other 2 were being moved.
Well, they were just coming out the door.
They were just coming out the door to be moved. And
Yeah.
Kyle, they did file a citation on that resident.
And supposedly the billing went to them for the,
For the potential towing.
Yeah, they had to come out, yeah. Okay. Very good discussion. I'm going to jump to, Nick, I'm going to throw this into your court to kind of bring us up to speed. The one thing that's been approved, I believe, by our board is, by the council, is the purchase of a Kubota. Kubota that.
Yep, so there's been discussion about that, where it may not be what we need, but it is. I mean, it's a tough thing. I don't need anything big, you know, because I'm looking at taking care of, you know, the sidewalks here in the Borough Hall, the bridges that we do, you know, that sort of thing.
What do you mean by taking care of? Sweeping them and?
Yeah, all the snow
Okay.
removal on the sidewalks, all the bridges that we do.
Okay.
And we can also use it for when we dig in people's yards. We've had numerous times where we've dug in people's yards, and I've taken that great big loader through their yard. Well, that leaves this much rot in the yard.
Yeah.
So we're fixing that all the way to the street now.
Okay.
Because I did that. Well, this little Kubota, we can dump it down at the edge. That little Kubota could go around.
Finesse it.
Yeah, do it up. And I got it with a frame-mounted plow because I don't want them on the loaders. If you got a plow on the loader, you know, and you're going along, and it just happens to catch an edge of it or whatever, it's putting strain on those arms. Like it'll slam those arms. So I wanted to go with a frame-mounted tractor. That way the snowplow pivots, you know, flops down on the one. And I went with a broom. So that broom, 3 or 4 inches, we can just use that broom it right off, and that broom will take it right down to
The broom is one that's...
yeah.
Okay.
Now again, we can also use that broom throughout the summer. If we do digs in the street, what have you, we can clean up the road, the area around it, because you know we always get mud and dirt and whatever around the whole area. We can sweep it up. There's always a spot up here on the top of East Main, East Main and Payne, right on the corner, and it's really nothing you're really gonna do. We get hard rains and all that gravel comes off that hill and lays there. So we're out there with shovels.
Yep.
And going, we can just run that Kubota up there, broom the whole thing right off, be done with it, and go. There is a lot more things we can do with the Kubota, you know. If I need to pick up something that's a ton, I'll get the loader. You know, plain and simple. You know, this Kubota is not picking up a ton. Like, I think they're only rated for 800 or 900 pounds at that. You know, so it's not, you know, I understand people's concern. Totally. Understand it completely. But what I want to do with it, what we can do with it, this BX is the one. Now I went and looked at a larger framed one because they were like, well, if you go to a larger frame one, okay, that's fine. So I went down there on a Saturday and looked at the larger frame ones. The next one up that's bigger, it is good. I can still get everything I need for it, but it's a less horsepower. It's a 24, not a 26 horsepower. So I was like, well, you know, they don't, because they were worried about horsepower part. So I went to the next one up that is bigger framed, but it's a 26 horse. So it's the same. I'm getting the same power and everything out of this BX and a smaller frame tractor, and I could go and do
maneuverable. You could
a lot more maneuverable.
So you're happy with a smaller tractor?
Yeah, I will, because like.
But will it be able to operate all the attachments and everything like that with no problem with that horsepower?
We want to get a 4-foot brush hog. We can get a 4-foot brush hog. It'll run the broom fine. They said no problems. Said that'll run with the broom. They said because that was a thing, like, you know, might not have enough power to run the broom and stuff. And I called them up, talked to them. They said, well, that. Like when you get down to like the BX 23 or 2180, 2380, something, that area, they said that'll make it grunt.
Okay.
You know, but he says you won't have an issue at all. And it's not like it's an everyday use. Like we're not gonna wear this tractor out in a summer. You know, like we used to have one of these tractors. It wasn't a 26 horse. It was only a 21 or 22 horse. But it was awesome. Like, I don't even know why they got rid of it. It was dumb. It was just stupid why they got rid of this thing. But they did, whatever. But this one's 10 times better tractor.
Has a roll bar?
Yes, has a ROPS cab on it.
It has a cab as well. So.
Well, no, just the ROPS.
Oh, the ROPS called?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
So
has a ROPS
for
bar,
the
four-wheel drive.
For the purchase of this, as long as it's used for, including the attachments, as long as they're used for streets, water, sewer, things like that, we can get it through liquid fuels, because that's the money we're looking at. Correct. Any attachments that go onto it that are not rated for that type of work, we can't use liquid fuels. It has to come out of a different funding source.
Okay.
So we have to be careful as to what we're actually buying, and we're going to go through co-stars because that's where the liquid fuels is easiest to go through without having to give 3 bids. But before we buy it, everything we want on the attachments is I'm going to have them approve it first. Because if you buy it without checking with them and they come back and say no, now you got to reimburse co-stars through another funding source in your account. So we're going to make sure that
It has
we
to be
follow.
pre-approved.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're going to pre-approve it. We got it. Everything so far that's been on there, we've been pre-approved with.
Yeah.
But we have to, because like the one thing specifically is they won't buy a brush hog out of there because it's not a mower.
And that's fine. Like I have a tractor too. I do have a brush hog, so if something did happen,
Well, you simply buy
you know,
a brush hog out of a different
I'm all
fund
for
later.
just like
Yeah, we can buy attachments and stuff out
Later.
of a different fund.
Yeah,
Right.
later.
It's just
Yeah.
right now,
The total
it's
purchase
specifically for the
Streets,
streets,
water,
it's
sewer.
specifically for the things that we're doing on that. It's not for the typical mower type thing. It's not for any of the side events that you could use it for.
Yeah, no, and I'm not gonna look for a mower deck for it until the zero turn we have now, which isn't a very good zero turn, but I mean whatever. When that one
When you go to
decides
replace
to
it.
not, we need it replaced, we're just not gonna go out and buy a whole new tractor. We'll just get the mower deck for this tractor, and we'll be fine mowing it. Because we can get a 60-inch deck that still can mow the same stuff.
Go ahead.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick. Nick and I have had several discussions about this, and I absolutely see the need for it. The only question I want to throw out there is, liquid fuels money comes in, it goes out. I just want to make sure that we're going to be okay with the loader that we currently have for another year.
We will be fine with that loader for another year. That's totally fine. We just gotta watch what we do instead of. We had an incident with it the other day, but it shouldn't have been driven. But that's besides the point. That'll be fine for another year until we can find a grant or however way you want to do it with trading that in for a backhoe.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
Yep.
if it was a possibility for us to find something that may already have several attachments with it, with low hours, that we could quite possibly come up with the money somewhere else to save the liquid fuels. If you indeed didn't think you could make it that long with the current loader.
Yeah, no, I can make it. That's fine. It's just, the loader is just not a piece of equipment that I can put a broom or any kind of attachment on.
Right.
Yeah, soon, you could go down the road with it, and if you just turn the wheel just a slight bit, all the power gets robbed from it. Because I mean, it works just like a hydrostatic. Everything runs off pumps on that thing.
Gotcha.
And that's really the issue that we have with that. And it would be a better fit for the borough if we could get rid of that through grant wise or whatever. And get a backhoe that's got a lot better flow to it, that we can run a street broom. Because we with a backhoe, we'll be able to get a actual street broom that we can actually just sweep the streets ourselves. I mean, we would still have landfill or whoever do the streets off the get-go, but we could still run that backhoe around, get heavy spots or spots throughout the summer with it. But that's something we'll look at. When we get there.
John, the liquid fuels right now we have over 105,000 in it. It only goes to things like snow removal. So this year we've hit it I think 14,000 because of the snow removal. Because the contract that we have with our snow removal guy can come out of there. And then we're due to get 35,000 here, I think the end of February or March to add to it. So if we're judicious with it, when the time comes, we might be able to do a match, like a 50-50 match if we need to. for a full-size loader. The only problem is when we look at equipment, if we use Co-Stars, it has to be new. It cannot be used low mileage or anything like that. So that's the problem that we run into if we use liquid fuels.
Right, right. And that's
Yeah,
why I was just kind of suggesting, if there was something out there that had low mileage, maybe we could come up with another funding source and save the liquid fuels for the backhoe if we needed to go. If we thought we were going to need one, you know what I mean?
Right. The thing is with liquid fuels, I would try to not use it for a backhoe purpose. Try to get a grant for it, because your liquid fuels, we can use it. If we have a hard winter to begin with next year, we're divvying into that. We have to divvy into that for our salt. So if we go ahead and use all the money on a backhoe or equipment or wherever, then we're not going to have it when it comes to we need salt, we need to treat the roads. So we're going to have to kind of watch what we do with the liquid fuels money, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, because you can use liquid fuels for blacktopping streets too.
Exactly.
Like you don't,
Don't forget that.
So you can't. You don't want to deplete it by getting something like that. We can try to get a.
Yeah, we gotta sparse it. We gotta pace it out for a
like
full
that.
year, not just. And we've already got 4 loads of salt.
Yeah.
We already got 4 loads of salt delivered. So
And
that contract is with Co-Stars.
Yeah, and then so like that contract, if that contract says we have to take X amount of tonnage, so when it comes, the end of March and we need to take 3 more loads to meet our tonnage, we have to get those 3 loads and try to store them up to the barn, or we're going to lose that for the following winter.
Yeah. So right now, I think when we did the original contract, it was 250.
It's just a tricky little thing that
You're always balancing it. You're always trying to balance it. So, but the winter's been hard enough that we've gone through quite a few loads.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I take a minute?
Absolutely. Go right ahead, Bill.
I want to appreciate our officer.
Yeah,
Did you
Kyle's
have
there
a
to say
question?
hi.
Or you need anything? Okay.
Baby's
Just
doing
wanted to acknowledge, glad to have you here, and
Does everybody know Kyle?
love the work
All
you're
right.
doing. And
He's
he's
one of
being
our
real quiet out there.
Yeah.
Make sure he's not coming for me with a cough.
Yeah, he's probably coming from me.
Good work, though.
Yeah.
You got anything for me?
No, sir.
Yep, that's how I was kind of checking to see if you had a.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Very good. Good job, Bill. Do we have any updates? I think we're working on the ordinance enforcement officer.
The ordinance enforcement officer was approved at the last thing. I've already written up an ad. I'm holding off because we need to get the order of planning of how we're doing with our ordinances, things like that. I don't want to have an ordinance officer that can only focus on 10, 15 ordinances when we're looking at expanding and updating. So I need to get with the government group and get with planning.
Did they meet last night, the planning commission?
No, tonight, they're after this meeting.
I thought it was the second Tuesday.
No, Wednesday.
That's why nobody was there. Nobody argued with me at all.
You passed every resolution, right?
No more ordinances.
No more. So we've got it, it's
Okay.
there, and there's things that the government group's got to look at.
All right.
There's an issue with ordinance code and stuff like that. I just want to go with ordinance enforcement officer, not with and say code all the time.
Correct.
Because people get excited.
Yes. Okay. Very good. Just an update, so everybody's is current with this. They did find a leak right out here by Vinnie's. They're going to open that up on Sunday. They're going to start dig at noon. It's a 6-inch, so they're going to look at taking care of that. And if all goes well, I think we're going to be looking at taking care of the leak we got up on High Street the following day.
Ooh.
Yeah,
So-
we got one by the school.
School's out that day, and it just opens it up for Nick and his crew to knock it out. So.
And originally it was scheduled for Friday. Nick and I discussed it, and we don't know what we're going to get into up there, so we'll try to be as less intrusive as possible. We moved it to Sunday. It only impacts 2 businesses. So I already notified both businesses about it. We were on the radio today letting everybody else know about it and kind of giving them a game plan as to what it goes. And it's already been on Facebook.
There is a possibility. I'm not saying this. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a possibility we can get it to where it'll only shut down West Main Street, Exchange Street. So Charlie would still have water. I don't know this, but we're gonna try it. If the valving, if the valving that we found works, we'll do it. Then everybody else will have water, just West Main Street, Exchange Street, and all the businesses on that end of town, which nobody's.
We're trying to get away from having to do a boil order.
Yeah, I mean, we still might have to, depending on what I find when it gets opened up. I'll try my best to keep the line full
on the radio
and do it, but there might be a possibility you won't have, or you'll have water.
No way. Gotta be done.
Yeah.
We're good.
Okay. Very good. That'll be nice. Next on my list, one item we talked a little bit about our last meeting, council meeting, was the addition of handicap parking here in the downtown area.
Yeah.
One of our councilmen did send me some pics and some his ideas where it would work out well to have additional handicap parking. The first question, I guess, or the first thing is, do we feel it's a necessity to add handicap parking in downtown Troy?
I'm hearing some complaints, and I think we need to move very, very slowly. Because one of the problems you have is when you add handicap parking in front of a business, you take away their parking.
That is correct.
And there are concerns about handicap parking. However, if you go crazy with it, nobody can park.
That is
and
correct.
Businesses don't have any control. It's their spot right in front. And I don't know what to do about it other than be sensitive.
I understand that 100%. I really do. But then you got to look at, well, the people that are handicapped. Well, we don't have any handicaps. But
No, we
you know what I mean.
We do.
So that this is a sticky. This will be a sticky thing to figure out.
Yeah, and
to try to please everybody.
Part of the issue is that normally a handicap parking code thing looks at the total number of parking places you have and then allocates how many you have to have, and they have to be close to a door.
And
when a business has really 2 parking places or one in front.
Yeah, I haven't had the chance to figure out what our percentages should be based on. Because we got to look at state law, look at the title on it, and see if there is a minimum number of handicaps. Which
so that would be the first thing we need to do.
Right.
Because if we don't know what we can do.
And we can put some of them downtown on the corner here with Fenner and Main, coming up Fenner and, to try to reach into town without imposing on businesses.
And you have the municipal lot.
Right.
Right, we have a municipal lot. Now, the idea for handicap access is to give them closer to the businesses. So you got to be careful of how far out you put a handicap spot, just so that you can say you have a handicap spot.
That is correct.
Because somebody that isn't handicapped, they can park in those spots and venture across the crosswalk.
You have curb cutting and room to get from the. I mean, it's complicated, and so it's nice to have satellite pictures with lots of places to put them. We gotta go slow.
Right. I already contacted PennDOT once about putting handicap spots, and the one Tawanda, they said that the road is theirs, the parking is ours. So when we put a parking spot on the state road, like in the downtown of the business,
they leave us alone.
They leave us alone, but we still have to need to check to see if there's any state law that requires a certain amount of handicap.
Yeah, it's
and I would think that was already done in the past, but we'll follow through with it again just to check.
Yep.
Okay. So I would say at this point in time we need to find out per state law,
Yep.
if we need to have any, and if so, how many, and then we can go from there.
Right.
And then
But
go
I-
slowly and get a hold of the businesses.
I think slowly is a good
Yeah,
word.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have to have a business meeting with them so that we can throw out the ideas and get their input as to where the spots
Less intrusive.
would best be without
Yeah.
taking away from anyone or multiple businesses.
And except for Nick or Bill, you know, you have to pay attention to what's going on downtown and what the current parking situation is. So a lot of people aren't in town and they don't see it and they don't know.
Correct.
Business people do.
Very good. Okay, that's gonna be something for us to continue to work on. And we'll bring it up at the next
That's
meeting
why
as
we
well.
have committees.
That's correct. I am gonna hit some old business here right now before we take on any new business. This is from our last meeting, so it's really new business to us, but old business for Mr. Chrisia and Rod. They were in on that meeting, but there was a discussion about designating a certain section of Elmira Street as a school zone. Reduced a mile per hour possibly to 15. Signage alerting drivers coming into that zone that that there's school kids. Okay, now you live right there on Elmira Street. Let me tell you what. Traffic does not even come close to traveling 15 miles an hour when those kids are getting out of school. It is bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
And I know the problem with that. I don't know if I should say it.
Please do. That's what we're here
The
for.
problem is people stop for the buses coming out. I understand people want the
I
buses
do it.
all coming out. I
Yep.
get that.
Yep.
But you cannot stop in the middle of the street.
Or those buses rolling that stop sign.
But whatever. I'm not the law.
Yep.
But when these people do that, that line just starts backing up all
And
the
it
way
does.
past Dunkin' Donuts. I've seen it clear to 14.
I have to tell you that I have stopped.
And I've seen it
I do.
clear up here to the red light just
And-
because
and
one guy thinks you ought to let all the buses out.
But I will
So
say.
now,
Okay.
when the buses are out, everybody goes. Now you got 5,000 cars right here in town. You still got a line because the red light's only going to run so many times.
That's correct.
And that's how if you just let the traffic go and let it do its thing,
If they would just use.
it
the
won't
separate
get
method.
congested. Just let it go.
When I have stopped in traffic and been the
the
villain
buses
and
come
let
down
the,
King
and
Street
let the buses
and don't
come up.
even lift. There's a stop sign right
Yeah.
there.
But when I let the buses out, I look up Elmira Street and I ain't going anywhere anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't let them all out. I just stop until I see the traffic moving and then I let a few. Because frankly, I was on the school board and I can.
I don't.
The sooner the buses are out of town,
It gets
the more-
back to normal.
it'll get back to normal. And as long as the buses are there,
I mean, I get it,
You know,
but
So-
and Ted York's day,
This-
they ran them all out of here and everything was great.
So let me.
So
But
I
they were
get
at
it.
the red light, Bill, and a cop was at the red light getting everybody through. There's
Right.
a big
Yeah.
difference.
What-
Also, keep in mind, back then, you had Granville School, East Troy School.
That's
You
right.
did not have the bus traffic or all the traffic that you have for
Right.
kids and everything else.
However-
Everything's consolidated.
however-
Things have changed.
However, we had twice as many kids, so we did have this many buses. And I'm on the school
The
board.
buses
I was
haven't
on the
gone down in
school
number.
board. They have not gone down in number. We have just as much, and we have more traffic. Because of the
like,
business on town.
I
So-
feel bad for the
so,
bus drivers.
yeah.
I do.
I don't
I'm
think.
not.
Okay.
I don't see an ordinance
I'm a
way to fix
CDL
it.
driver too. I
So
get it.
Here's my
I-
question to
I-
you.
It's
Okay?
just.
And we can't stop
All right,
traffic.
before we
What?
get too
Yeah.
deep on this, was there ever a traffic engineering study done through PennDOT? Because that's a PennDOT.
I don't know.
But what's
There's
this-
been several studies for different
Well-
things, but I don't know how it relates to there.
I know there was one done back in the early 80s for children walking to school, because now children are getting picked up in Troy to go to school. And when my kids were on King Street, they could not, they had to walk to Croman. And we put up a big fuss, and we had a traffic study done going up around, coming up Center or Fenner and up to the school.
Yeah.
So, and the other thing is, when you were talking about this, does the Cummings done at 4 a shift, 3 o'clock? Because we talked about how the hospital is letting people out, the Cummings at Lumber is letting people out, instead of
I'm not
extra-
sure when
And
they,
then
you know.
But
the
the,
cars, I mean, the amount of kids that drive now and the amount of parents who are at the auditorium parking lot to pick up their kids.
Yeah.
Do you think I can get out of my driveway at
Oh,
8 o'clock in the
Yeah.
morning?
I can't get out of my driveway.
No,
at 8 o'clock
I
in the morning. What are you
understand
talking
yours.
about?
I understand you completely. I
And you
get
have
it.
Taylor
It's
Street
just-
and John Street,
Right.
which we didn't have in the past.
So
Great point, Jamie.
let's see if there is a traffic engineering study and.
so here's my
It's
question.
just a bunch of traffic in the town.
It is,
will move
but
eventually.
What do you think the sign's what is gonna happen to reduce the speed limit to 15 miles an hour? It doesn't do anything to the traffic.
No, 'cause
They can
people
stop
stopping
sooner?
and The line of traffic's all the way to the red light already.
They
so it
can't
doesn't
get up to
matter,
15.
they're
You
not
aren't gonna
gonna-
change habit.
You're gonna
And then
spend
we have
money
an
on
enforcement
something that
issue.
Yeah.
they can't even
I
do.
mean,
anyway.
it is what it is. I mean, you can do all the studies you want, but
I think it was done again when they made the driveway out of the high school parking lot onto John
Yeah,
Street.
yeah.
There was another
I'm sure
study
Yeah.
done.
that's why they
then.
had to put that
How
up.
many cars
Yeah,
are going
Yeah.
out Taylor Street and how many cars are going out John Street?
correct.
Kids will go as fast as they can either way to get
Yeah.
out of the parking
I don't
lot.
remember, I was on
Well-
council then, and I don't remember a study being done, but I do remember council making sure that there was no left-hand turn out of
Yes.
that street.
Yeah,
I was
right.
on council then.
Yeah,
I had to turn right.
John to John
Yep,
Street.
they had to go up the hill.
Yeah, and
Yep,
that
yeah,
wasn't wasn't enforced. Didn't happen. I can tell you
no.
that.
Well, the big issue with the kids coming out of the school, and you'll be living there long enough, you're gonna find out that they drive a little careless and reckless because they're spinning their wheels
They do.
coming out.
Yep.
We all have.
And it's right across from our house, and it
Yep.
annoys the hell out of my neighbor for that fact. Now, do they need to go that fast to pull out? No.
No.
But there has never been an enforcement for that particular traffic violation.
I just
Well, maybe our cop needs to sit down there at 3 o'clock.
Or you should see them spinning out in the school parking lot.
Oh, that's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whoa.
but they have to replace the asphalt every year.
But yeah,
I
I mean,
would suggest it would be possibly a good idea to discuss this with the schools. I'm not sitting here
Well,
deciding about all
the
this.
chief has already reached out to the school.
Yeah, yeah.
I know he's reached out to the school, and he's not here because I wanted
Yeah.
to find out how far along he is
Yeah.
and what else has he's got to
Yeah.
work on that.
Because the school is providing crossing guards.
Right.
At a minimum, we should find out what issues are they having.
cars don't stop.
Well, I know, but we need to hear kind of officially, and if we hear.
Well, and the school
If
buses
they,
don't stop
if
either.
they tell me that there's people speeding up Elmira Street, first of all, I'd be surprised they ever have room to do that.
Right.
But if they were to complain about that, or raise that as an issue, it'd be something to look at. But,
But the reason
What,
the buses don't
uh,
stop is because those cars have stopped for so many times that
Right,
they're
right.
like, okay,
Yeah.
we can go.
Yeah.
And I forget who
Yeah.
the chief was a while back, but he would sit
Kyle.
there. Was it Kyle?
Oh,
And
yeah,
he would
Kyle.
sit there
They-
and make
oh, yeah.
sure he did it down at Croman.
I know
Make
they
sure
do
that
it
they
from
stop.
a lot because
So that they
Yeah.
stop. They have to stop. It's a stop
Yeah.
sign.
because once you're coming through town, there's nothing to stop you heading west or heading towards Canton.
Yeah.
right.
So, particular, what questions do you want answered so I can get them written down and we can get them focused on the school zone? Crossing guard interviews.
Traffic study.
Yeah, has there been a traffic study? I don't think we need to talk to the crossing guards, but I think we should talk to the school and have them talk to, and raise awareness of, do they see a positive?
Your contact
Or
would be
not.
Josh Campbell. He's in charge of the crossing guards.
Also, you need to know where would it start and finish.
Well, there is a particular, and we talked about this before, that technically the school zone goes from the edge of the school property. And Wayne and I had talked about this earlier.
So
The
it's
school
not gonna
doesn't have
include-
any property on Elmira Street,
Right.
but it goes a certain particular distance.
But that means it wouldn't include King Street. Because King Street doesn't.
Yeah, but it goes from there, so the
From
distance,
King Street.
it would go from there out
So you wouldn't
towards
slow them
Porter.
down as they approach our crossing guard. And that doesn't seem to me to make sense.
Which way they're coming from?
Coming up Elmira Street from Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
They
you
would get to
can-
the crossing guard when they would see the sign that says.
We can reach all the way down to
Okay.
almost Porter Road.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah, you can almost reach all the way down to
Okay.
Porter Road.
And then the opposing side is you gotta come up to John Street, because the school traffic problem we have And that's what
Yeah.
we're trying to do, is make the traffic safe.
Right.
Is John Street, Taylor Street, it's all three of them.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a good thing to look at this and say, you see kids in the road, we want to take care of this, but then you have to stop and say, to regulate this, you're talking about school traffic, and people aren't seeing what's happening on John Street. And they're not seeing what's
Right.
happening on Taylor Street.
If John Street, if people going towards the light would come out John Street and turn that way,
Yeah,
and then the people that have to go towards Duncan come out the other street.
Right across
Yeah.
the Muscle make the left.
Yeah.
yeah.
That would empty that parking lot really fast.
Yeah.
And
Left
and
turn
you-
only, right turn only,
Yeah.
or left, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that's,
Anyway,
that's
that has
tough
more to do with the
train
traffic
those
study.
animals.
It would be
Yeah.
really to look, because I think the last time the traffic study was done, I
Yeah,
don't think John Street was connected to the school parking lot.
Yeah, so like, if you did do it that way, you're gonna have to make signage that it's only a certain amount of certain time of the day.
Right.
Yeah, between certain times you
Because
have
we-
to turn.
People
And then-
are gonna come out
right.
at 6 o'clock at night, you know, because
Right,
there is
right,
houses
right,
on
during
Taylor
school
Street or
hours.
whatever.
Yeah.
No left
And
turn.
go, oh, no,
Yeah.
left turn.
You
make
No,
it-
you know, they're gonna do it.
Two-
You're really,
3:30,
really
So,
trying to control
we-
kids.
You actually
Just
do
the
have
kids.
to.
Well, it's just during that congested
Right.
time when the
Yeah,
kids
that's
are
the
coming
kids,
and
yeah.
going
Yeah.
that we want to make
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is to make everybody safe.
Yeah.
But they come
Uh,
out
it's-
of Fenner Street, that's a one-way street, and they pull out of
It's-
there, so it's not like they pay attention to the signs.
Well,
As long as you keep the main
Yeah,
traffic.
they come all the way
moving.
down.
that's a revenue opportunity. I mean,
They come all the way down. I saw that one day and I'm like,
yeah.
Wait, what?
Where do you do it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, all right.
So I'll
So
let me
the
gather some
placement of where the
information.
signs would go and.
So you-
We'll check with the chief and see where
All
we
right.
can come up with these answers.
I think it was just they were going to do a study with that. And with the approval, excuse me, the approval we gave was to get a study done
Right.
to see where the line would be. And that's all it was.
And that's what he's trying to
gather
work
information.
with PennDOT, I think.
Right,
was
but he had to have
get it
council
done.
give that approval to get that information.
Yep.
And I'm reasonably sure that it's the school district paying for those signs at Croman, those flashing signs.
Yeah,
They're not borough signs.
No,
Those are
they're,
the batteries, the electronics, the
Yep.
timers.
They
We have a
take
flashing
care of them.
school.
And neither are the
Right out
flashing
in
signs. The
right out in my
school
front
put the flashing signs in on Elmira Street
Oh.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
warning, yeah.
Yeah.
So
they
there's
were-
They're
one
not
there.
our- they're not our signs.
I don't think it works, but.
Start taking bus drivers.
That's why I'm suggesting
Well,
if
the
we had
biggest
it,
problem with those flashing
Yeah.
signs, they leave them on all summer.
Yes,
well,
that's correct.
that's a staffing problem.
Rolling that
Oh.
stop sign at the bottom of King.
Yeah.
When they had the right staffing, they didn't have that
Like,
problem.
Which they're currently at now, finally.
Okay.
So,
All right, well, I'll do some more work with the chief on that
Thank
and
you.
see if we can't come up with answers for the committee.
next is another safety issue, the light pole, as you know, down by, I think it's Reddington and Canton Street.
Yep, Shannon's.
Yep, at Shannon Tire that continues to get hit. It was hit not too long ago. We did settle up with the insurance company. The question,
We got all our home money back to replace the pole.
the question is, do we want to protect the barrier around that pole? Do we just want to put that pole in
I would suggest,
or moving? I don't know. Moving is still an option. don't
I
think
would
it
like
is.
to keep the light, because it makes our town, it's very nice. I would suggest putting the sidewalk back in. That,
So
Around.
there's no sidewalk here.
Put the sidewalk in front.
There
as you
is-
come
Just
out
10
on
feet of it.
Reddington.
Yeah, go up Reddington 10 feet with a full curb.
Oh,
And a
okay.
sidewalk, and come around and put about 5 feet coming up to that.
Okay.
And then if you want to hit that
Ac-
and replace the axle on your vehicle, that's,
Not a bad
I
idea.
think that's how you
Wait a minute,
protect
where's your sidewalk, Bill? Where's your suggestion?
it.
Right around the corner.
From the corner up Reddington,
Yeah.
10 feet,
feet.
because that's,
If you put your sidewalk, don't
And-
let them pull out onto Canton Street. Put the sidewalk,
well, I don't want to interfere with their business.
that's not going to.
Okay,
And
so-
then they go in, they
Yeah,
go
but
in.
10
there.
feet of both.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
talking the
Because-
radius there.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
talking the radius.
That's right.
The radius of the arc.
Excellent.
So they're not trying to cut.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens if they pull out onto Reddington and try to zip to the left? They're going to clip that. If you put it 10 feet, just not enough to disrupt.
Yeah.
But there used to be a sidewalk the entire length there.
Yeah.
I mean, way back. And you can see, and you just put 10 feet, 10 feet.
Keep in mind, the reason they needed to pull out onto Canton Street is because that's when it was a fire department.
Exactly.
Correct.
They do not need
Yeah.
to now.
You're talking here.
But I don't think you're going to get
Here's the
Shannon to
pole.
agree to
Yep.
that.
10 feet that way.
Okay.
No,
10 feet that way.
Oh, sure.
So you have a full curve there, so you can't come
Yeah,
close
but
to it
they
out of
stop
here and go
on
this
the
way.
street or
You got to get out
Yeah, but we
away
put it
from
like
it.
But I'm not speaking.
And when you're coming in here, if you try to
Yeah,
cut it
that's-
close
Yep.
there, just, and
Now,
I don't know.
I've seen trucks coming out of here
Cause if
and
you
they
just
clip
do
that
it
corner
to
because they don't pay attention.
pay for it
right,
to do
Yeah,
it.
well,
that's-
curb will help with that.
Yeah.
Okay, then
You know,
we're gonna go.
But
I just wanna make sure
and-
it's visualized.
I don't
And
want it there.
another thing we
Now
could
we have
do
something.
is under the balance, for the support for the pole, I was in Tucson, I was looking at some of the things to do. They have break-off bolts. So if you hit it, it just snaps off. And it doesn't break everything.
Well, that's what ours do, but the landing isn't very good.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They break
well, do
down.
they
We've
really
done it
snap?
several times, they just snap off and
Do they
roll
snap,
over.
does bolts snap off or
Oh,
do
yeah.
poles break?
No, the pole.
Okay,
The
all right,
whole-
if
the
they,
whole
that's
pole.
fine then.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
pole
I
breaks.
had an opportunity to look underneath, they had one of the calendars.
Because we have to
so I
take
could
the
use it.
bolts and everything out.
Okay, yeah.
And we have to
Okay,
cap the
all right.
electric.
If we're already doing that.
Are those a brake release?
Well, the bolts were put in such a place where if you hit the pole, they snap, and they're
Okay.
made weak.
So they should almost like a
So
shirt.
yeah,
Like a shear pin, yeah.
yep.
Okay.
And I'm looking at that, and they were replacing one, and they had the cowling off, and I'm looking, and it's like, man, all I got to do is replace the bolts. And
So,
but I think if you put sufficient curbing on the two directions there, it will warn the traffic off,
Not
and
a
it
Cal-
won't impede the traffic.
Not a California curve, a real curve.
A real curve, yep.
Well,
And,
you're
then,
gonna
and
have
then a
to-
ramp going up to it on the one and a ramp going up.
Well,
and there is a
you'll
cutout.
have
There's a
to-
cutout that's needed there
Yes.
for it accessible.
Yes.
But you can still up and down
Okay. Yeah.
and
you
bring
got
it up after it goes down for that.
Yes.
So I don't know, 5 feet.
Okay.
And then another. And,
Is there a crosswalk right there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both ways? One across Canton and one across Reddington?
I think
The
there's
one-
across Reddington, but I don't know
Yeah,
if there's
the
one
one on
on
Canton is on the other side.
it's on the, it comes
Okay,
across
so
the
we only
bridge
need
on
a,
the other
Yeah,
so
side.
we
but
only need a
I-
ramp across Reddington.
Well, that's an interesting
Or an
point
open
because
thing, I think there is right now.
I think there's a.
Or there was.
Well,
Yeah, but if you make that a handicap access to the sidewalk, now you're defeating your purpose for your curb.
No,
well,
it'll
not if
be-
it's a
it'll
ramp
be-
down. Not if it's a ramp down.
Let Bill draw it out.
Yeah,
It'll make sense.
if you, this is Shannon's, and I think there's like a minimal little cutout there, even though there's not a crosswalk here
Mm-hmm.
onto Canton Street. But if you curb this up and you curb this up with a sidewalk, this is going to be a ramp down,
Yes.
and this
That's
is going to be a
driveway.
ramp down. So we don't need this here because it doesn't meet a crosswalk.
Right.
Crosswalk is over here.
Right, but I'm saying if you wanted a crosswalk, then you have to have a handicap access. to it.
So the fact that we might
Yeah,
take out,
you want a crosswalk from here to here.
yeah, and there is one.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you,
Right there's your crosswalk on this
Oh,
side. of
thank
the
you.
street.
yeah.
This is the
There it is.
pole
Yeah.
right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I think
Okay.
that's the pink
Yep.
that I'm seeing. But if you go 10 feet this way and 10 feet that way, and give them a curb that's painful to hit,
Yeah, there's
it,
the,
Okay.
they won't hit it.
Got it.
It's the fact that it's wide open. That whole parking lot is
you
not
see it every day.
wide open. And Charlie's right. When there was a fire department there, they were backing the trucks in.
That's
they
when it
were
was
doing
important.
all this kind of stuff out of there. And we've gone away from a realization. That's a sidewalk. You come down Reddington on the town side, and you come across the bridge, and there's no sidewalk. You're walking through parking lot. And that used to be, way back, it used to be, sidewalk all the way along there. You got to go back a long time. But anyway, I think we should look into that. There'd be a question about who should pay for it.
Well, that was the question on my mind. Who's paying for
Who's gonna take
the
care of it?
curbage?
You're right.
And we got to make sure that it's going to deter what we want to deter, not just because of aesthetics.
Right. And you could put a what do they call it? A ballard.
Yeah, when you
No,
do
but you
do
don't- with
that,
a curb, you don't
I
need
think
to do
you're
that.
gonna have to talk with the state
Yeah.
on their right of way
See, that's what-
stipulations.
what-
I don't know that, but
See, what I want to do
there-
is something
there
that
might
doesn't
be some-
involve the state at all. If we just
Right.
fix the sidewalk there,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's ours. We're not
Well,
getting into
If
even
it's on your sidewalk, it's okay.
Yeah. But, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I think if you're going to impose this, almost the borough needs to find a way to initially pay for it, but then it's the property owner's responsibility. Because how do you make them put it in?
well, the key is if you put it in, how do you make them take care of it afterwards?
You have that
Because-
agreement, like everybody,
Well, you're gonna
Yeah.
now they're
Yeah.
giving up their right to have what they had there before. So, yeah, we have to, and that's another thing you gotta tread carefully on.
Yeah.
If you look at what Bill's saying, and you look through some old aerials, you'll see sidewalks there, and you're just asking them to be replaced as they
Right.
were in
Right.
kind. You're not asking them to do anything.
Right.
Yeah, but you set a precedent by taking the sidewalk away, by allowing the sidewalk to be gone, and now it's part of the driveway
Yeah.
itself, the parking area.
Yeah.
Been gone for so many years.
Yeah,
But
once you
there's
set
a-
that precedent,
but
it's
there's-
hard to go back.
What are the state statutes and ordinances for traffic maneuvering near an intersection?
Hmm.
Are you allowed to pull on a street 3 feet from an intersection? Or is there a setback? You're allowed to have a driveway on an intersection? Or is this really required to be?
Not usually.
Another interesting question.
Yeah.
They may not be allowed to have traffic going through on the corner. They may need to be 10 feet, 15. You can't park up next to a stop sign. You have to be
We need to
10.
check with PennDOT to see
Yeah,
what
yeah,
their intent
yeah.
was when
Oh,
so PennDOT don't care, because that street's ours.
right.
That street's ours.
Right.
All theirs is going right by.
Right.
It's our
Yeah.
street. Once
That
it
would-
comes to their right of way, when that right of way is over, that's our concern.
Yeah, and I love the look of our town with our streetlights. I'd like to have that street light there because it balances as you're coming across the bridge on Canton Street into town. I would be searching for a way to keep it.
Well, we are. We want to keep it
Right.
there because it does balance. It's just we got to
Right.
get creative in how we're going
Right.
to save it from
Right.
getting hit every 6 months.
Yeah.
And
I spend a lot of
along
time.
those lights with the poles, we've already made arrangements to get the light boxes done. They were already approved the last council meeting, so that they can put the lights up around the trees and everything that
Oh,
go
yeah.
up through there
And
to
have
keep
power. Yeah.
to keep the
I
decorative.
talked to the electric company that's doing it, and
Yeah.
they're getting things on order, and
Okay.
they'll
We're
start
just waiting for
working
the
on
weather to
everything
break.
when the weather breaks. They might
Okay.
show up this week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So my understanding then is we really wanted to talk to Shannon a little bit on that and see if they're open to that. Are you good with that?
Mhm.
Okay. And then I like the curbing idea. I do. I think that
Might even reach out to our attorney to see what our
Good idea.
What
Okay.
what our rights are as far as forcing or encouraging. I don't want to force anybody to do anything, but encouraging it,
Yeah.
the curbage there.
Very good. All right. Next thing I have is reflective strips alerting for signs, etc. Mainly the previous committee had talked about making our signs more attractive, maybe grabbing the eye of a driver who might be daydreaming, that type of thing. We have a lot of signs throughout the borough, so it might not be something we want to attack all at once, but prioritize the main streets and then go to the side streets. Maybe it's something we don't want to attack at this time.
Or at least attack the pedestrian crossing signs.
The pedestrian crossing signs, the ones that are ignored big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I almost got hit the other day. I looked
Yeah.
both ways, nobody, and some guy came through the intersection and he was by the crosswalk at the bank before I even got halfway
Yeah, but
across.
he
Yes.
knew you.
He probably did. It was Charlie. He looked a lot like Charlie, but I couldn't swear to it in court.
No, I stopped. It's pretty important to me.
Was he on a scooter?
No, didn't go that fast.
Well, we've got to lead the public in inches rather than
That is one thing.
Nudge it up.
On them streets, because like I say, you're not supposed to stop in the middle of the roads, but there is a law that you have to stop at these crosswalks, wherever
Yes.
these white ones are.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
there is one down at King Street.
Yeah.
But
There is.
But I just don't want to
You know,
say
create a precedent.
say you can't.
If the
But,
committee
yeah,
wants,
I mean,
we
you're
can
supposed
look
to
at
stop
costs for the reflectives on the crosswalk signs.
Yeah.
Because we've got a few. You got a whole bunch down by Martha Lloyd. We got them right here. We got them down by.
I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
I think we need emphasis on the crosswalk thing, because
Yeah.
you take your life into your own hands if you try to cross.
Mhm.
There's no
Do-
guarantee
do-
they're going
do-
to stop.
Do we know of any signs that would effectively be considered worn out? I've seen stop signs that have lost their reflective power so much.
90% of your signs are worn out in this town.
Yeah, so maybe we need to
actually been
adopt a 5
changing a
signs.
lot
You guys have been doing a
of
lot of them
them.
lately.
Yeah.
Well, if that's underway.
We knock them
then-
down with snowplows and
Oh,
then we
there
change
you
them
go.
out, so we're okay there.
Jesus.
That's one way we can force the change.
All right, next time I'm just gonna hit the car.
Before
We
you
I'm
need to
gonna
do it
take
for-
that car right
we
out.
need a
Hold
new
on.
car too.
Hang on, hang on.
Charlie?
Before you get too much farther, Chris, if you recall, I had asked 2 years ago to have a pedestrian sign on each side of the road. For example, Rod, if you leave the borough office and you go over to the bank, you do not have a pedestrian sign on this side of the road. You have it facing this way. If you just put another pedestrian sign with the
Match it.
arrows, then you have both sides.
Yeah.
If Rod's standing over there, nobody knows to stop. Yeah, they see it over here, but there's no one standing here.
Yeah.
So do that, and then I think John wanted, and I'm not speaking for John, but I think he wanted, the green reflectors on the poles.
He did.
So do that, and you'll help your pedestrian traffic a great deal.
So what you're saying is, as you're coming this way,
Yes.
have a pedestrian walk on each side of the road?
Yes, there's one on the right now.
Match them,
By the-
match them so they show both directions.
On each,
So
so
traffic-
you
yeah,
have 4
yeah.
signs?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's 2 there
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
You just don't have it.
No, you'd only have 2 signs.
Well, you're buying 2 more. You have a
Put them on
pole-
each side of the pole so
Yes.
traffic coming either direction sees it. Now
Yes,
we have
from
them on
each
one
side of the road.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, but you're saying the westbound traffic will have that one sign that points down here, and then your
No.
eastbound traffic
He's
will
saying
have that one.
he's
He's
saying
talking
the
about the-
westbound will have them
So
on
you
each
want-
side of the road.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what he's saying.
But it was poo-pooed by the people in charge at that point. Right,
It's
Chris?
still being poo-pooed a little bit.
No, he's not.
Well,
It don't matter to me.
No,
I'll put them up anywhere.
You buy 'em, they'll put 'em up.
but-
Yeah, I'll put them up anywhere.
Well, we need to,
And so we can get them like red, so like stop signs could be red ones, like this crosswalk one, that could be a yellow one.
yeah.
Or you
We
can
can
go to
have-
the new style,
we can get-
lime green.
Yeah, they got green ones.
Which are brighter at night.
Clear ones in there. You're right there where that tag is.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
For someone who walks all the time, I don't understand why they stop and wander for me, and amazingly, everybody stops in Clark Summit.
Yes.
It is just terrible.
So,
enforce-
So it got enforced.
It's a revenue.
So years ago, no, I
There
know,
was a
but years
mobility
ago,
study done for
when
Troy,
Kyle
2011.
Weiser was
I
here,
sent you a copy
like
of the
him
report.
and
I did
Floyd,
you as well.
the other fella, they actually enforced it.
Was that with
Like,
Dunkin' Donuts?
they'd have Kyle sitting here in a.
I know they
park-
did a,
There
just
was
a
something
park
about
side,
when
and
the
Floyd would
beautification,
go
we were
out
talking
and step right
beautification,
on that
there's a lot
sidewalk.
with King Street,
And
there's a lot
soon
with
as
the
somebody comes
sidewalks,
through,
there's a
well,
lot.
let him go.
192
Okay.
pages, so I'll forewarn you.
okay.
I sent you a
Oh
copy.
yeah, they're everywhere,
And
yeah.
nobody.
No,
stops
nobody-
and
yeah.
tries.
we'll have to talk with
Yeah,
the
you-
chief.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it's
seen
purely
it.
an enforcement.
I've seen Kyle do
If
it,
you
like, it was
if you
amazing.
get a couple of citations, word gets around.
Oh, yeah.
People stop.
That's correct.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm
correct.
telling you.
Yeah.
So what, I have to take license plates or
No, I'm
something?
not saying you
No,
have to enforce
no,
it,
not
Jamie.
you.
I'm saying-
I mean, I don't know.
Well, you can bring the plate in, he can run it, but you gotta testify.
Yeah. We'll just wait until you
Get her
get
a
run
ticket.
over, and then we'll see what tread tires went over.
Exactly,
We'll
it'll
get
match.
You wanna be the
I
enforcement officer?
just-
I know, but if you
All right.
understand
All right.
the road. and-
Yeah.
So we got another
Yeah.
meeting at 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I got
about 10 minutes.
Okay, all right, very good. The next thing, and I don't know if we're anywhere, that is our sidewalk. So before I go there, let's get a price on how many signs we need for the crosswalk. Okay, and I can do that. I have the book right there.
Okay.
And see what we're looking for.
Yeah, that'll be a rough
cost-wise.
estimate. I might be able to get it, cheaper,
Yeah.
that's just. gonna
Okay,
be
and we can
rough.
start with the crosswalks
Okay.
and see what. Okay.
All right. I'll go around, have the boys count each one of them,
Perfect.
and we'll do it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. The last thing I have on my list is our trees are protruding, or the roots of our trees are picking up the sidewalk. Do you know if we've been in contact with an arborist?
Contacted down at Conservation, there's an arborist down there. I've left several messages. I talked to him one time during the holidays. He said he would get back to me and we would come out, look at them. I've left 3 other messages since. So he's only here on a part-time basis because I think he has a couple of other areas he's
Okay.
at. So In fact, I just called him before I left last week.
The thing I look at, I mean, it's totally up to everybody, but I would take out them ones that got like the one across from by the China Garden that's this tall. Just take them out, get the roots out of them, redo the sidewalk right there, put a new one back in it, and keep it formed. You know, keep it trimmed as you're going. That's what I would do.
Can you
Bill, do you have a thought on that?
get the roots out?
No.
No, but I mean, you're gonna have to replace the sidewalk right there. It's already.
The issue, I've had a little experience with this. You can't pull them out and get all the roots. So you have to cut the tree, and then you have to kill the tree, so the roots are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, then you can pull it out.
Yeah, but they make an auger. As soon as you cut the thing out.
The roots are in the yard, under the sidewalk on the other side.
Yeah, no. Once this goes down through that tree,
It won't kill the roots.
it'll tear it right
Yes,
out of there.
it'll tear it out of there, but it will leave roots behind. And the roots will be alive, and they'll start growing.
Yeah.
If you want to kill it, it's like I had an arborvitae in feeding into my sewer line.
Because all
And
the
I cut the
concrete's going to have to get picked up anyway.
Right.
So
Well,
just take it.
I'm just saying,
What kind of trees are they?
these are they pear?
They're supposed to be the.
I can't remember. Aaron told me what they were, and I can't
They're a soft.
remember what they were.
They're the soft ones because we had them planted down
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a pear
down the
tree.
street when.
And they rip right apart if you don't
So
trim
they're
them.
not the Bradford pear.
Bradford pear.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Oh, yeah.
They're invasive.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
invasive
Yeah,
species.
yeah.
You can't kill them just by trying to kill them.
Yeah.
If
But
the
the-
roots
Well, if
there,
that's the
they'll-
case,
I know how to kill them.
if that's the case, lift the sidewalk up, cut the root off, put the sidewalk down, and you're good for 20 or 30 years.
No, the root will push the.
Right, the root will
start
come back.
again.
Yeah.
Uh,
So what you
but
do,
you have to-
you use
take salt.
what you do is you take a drill and you drill holes into the bark and you take Roundup. You put Roundup into and then you do what you want to do. But first, while it's alive
You gotta
and it's
kill
pumping
all
those
those
roots, you put Roundup in it and it kills everything. I cut an arborvitae tree down in the yard, and a year later I had to call Roto-Rooter because the roots were still growing down underneath into the sewer.
Don't give
Let me
up
get
on
with
the arborist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
And he's gonna probably recommend to get rid of Bradford pears because that's
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a.
Okay. Homework assignment for us before our next meeting is to think about
Okay.
sidewalks and the how to enforce that, what our guidelines need to be.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll get together again on that. I would say we'll probably have another meeting in about 2 weeks. Okay, before we actually have another borough meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Before we go though, any other new business? And last but not least, public comment.
Okay, yeah, I have two things. One,
Can you
guys
sign
are-
my sheet?
Yeah. One, you guys are talking about liquid fuels, okay? So as I travel around to other boroughs and watch their meetings, it's about this time of the year that they are talking about road replacement, road fixing and stuff. So I would encourage streets and sidewalks to get on that before you spend all of your liquid fuel money. Nothing got done last year.
No.
Nothing got done last year. So you want to do something this year. You want to look at your streets and you want to figure out a budget and what you're going to do.
Well,
They actually put out for bids around this time for the summer.
Yeah.
I know Rod's been working on, we have a little bit of a timing issue on that. We have looked at different streets, but we have other things in the works. We don't want to redo streets and then
Take the water
2
pump.
months
No,
down
no,
the road, we're taking it all back up.
I agree,
So
and that
it's a
does-
timing issue.
I agree, and that dovetails into my next and last comment. Nick, you brought up, I think 3 months ago or 4 months ago, that the state informed you that they are going to do Canton Street, paving Canton Street.
Mm-hmm.
This borough, this council has the responsibility to look at the sidewalks and determine what curbs and sidewalks need to be replaced, repaired before that project is done. You have the authority to do that. I have walked those from 1974 to current with my grandchildren now. Those are the same sidewalks that I walked on. They're absolutely horrible. You have sinking sidewalks and crumbling curbs. you really need to address that on Canton Street. That's it, before they do the pavement.
Yeah, because I called the guy that I got to meet with, and I'm still waiting on him.
There was a hiccup on that though, was there not, Ron?
Well, I called them because I was trying to get them to go in line with potential timeline to replace water and
Yes.
sewer on those lines. He said they're only doing a micro, which is basically sealing it again. It's not tearing up the side. It's not tearing it up.
Yes.
We're not due for Canton Street until 2034.
That's what it was.
Or,
Yep.
yeah, 2035,
Okay.
2034.
Yep.
Still
Yeah,
want to
and-
address those curbs and sidewalks.
And we are.
Okay.
Yep, we just can't do everything
Yeah,
as
so
quick as
that,
everybody
when you were
wants us
talking
to.
about that, that's the thing, because he sent me, I've got a list of other dates, but next year is the micro, what do they call it?
2028.
2020, micro milling.
Patching and,
Yeah, and then 2034. I was trying to bump it up to 2030, so we could try to get some grant money and start putting the piping in when they tore it up, because it's stupid to have them put stuff down and us rip it up and have to pay to put it back.
Okay.
23rd, 24th, 25th of February, what does that look like for you guys for meeting, just really the thing we want to discuss is sidewalks?
That's, okay, that's the week of the council meeting, so,
Yes.
okay.
Or is that a bad timing issue and we want to,
Doesn't matter to me. I mean,
What do you want us to accomplish between now and then? That's the question.
I want to, we're out of time now because there's another meeting after us, but we need to talk about our approach, our attack to our sidewalks.
Okay.
Okay, I'll use my sidewalk as an example. My sidewalk has a 2-inch, it dropped 2 inches, probably for whatever reason. So
It's a tripping hazard.
that is correct.
We've got sidewalks on Elmira Street that are still slate. That are
I
all
understand
torn
that
up.
too. There are the things we have to discuss and then figure out how we're gonna do it. Okay, I know, is 2 inches too much? Is an inch too much? Is a half inch too much? When does it become a tripping hazard? Okay, I don't mind this, I tripped on it.
Wait, I think there's an ordinance on that.
There's code.
There is code.
Okay,
Yeah. That
It's
gets
a
all the way back to-
sidewalk.
What day do you want to do it? What day do you want to meet?
I would prefer the 23rd or the 24th. I don't wanna go the night before because
When's our council meeting?
Thursday.
Thursday, 26th.
26th.
Yeah. I mean, any evening works for me.
Any evening, I can work around.
I don't expect it to be
You
as
want to do
long
it
as
Monday
this
the
one.
23rd?
Let's do it,
Yeah,
yeah. Monday the 23rd at 5:30, does that work for everybody?
Yeah, Yep.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Move to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Can I do a sidebar with Nick afterwards?
Yes.
Since I know you have a meeting on that.
Yep. Second?
You're gonna have to second it.
I
Well
did.
done.
Okay.
Adjourn.
Okay,
Closed
adjourn.
now.
All right.